God is in this place this morning. God is in this place this morning. Would you say that with me? God is in this place. So how is your heart today, beloveds? How is your heart today? Is it open? Is it revealing more of what you are? Is it yearning? Is it hardened? Is it in pain? What's it full of? Well, Revealing the Healing Heart is my title today, and so it's my purpose to offer words and feelings of the possibility of revealing your inner, abundant, loving nature. And I'd first like to do a little short review of my two previous lessons because they seem to be in sort of a series. Isn't that sometimes how life works? We do something, we do this over here instead of over here, and it takes us down this path or this journey. And so I'm finding that with my previous times up here, there is a pattern or a flow or a direction. And so the first one I want to share is the revolving door of your mind was the talk. And I talked about stepping into your good through the ever-evolving doorways of your mind. For the mind is your storehouse of all your beliefs and your thoughts and your experiences. And you, each one of us, possess the power. We possess the power, which is the courage, to push through old fears. And those old fears tend to rust our ability, restrict our ability, slow us down from the stepping into the good, the next good of life. And I also offered a new acronym for fear. I used to believe false evidence appearing real, and that's true. But for me, it is finally erasing all resistance. Finally erasing all resistance. Because that's what fear is, resistance. You ever been afraid? Mm-hmm. We understand that, don't we? So the second talk title, Living the Dream, which I renamed Living Your Dream. Living your dream is loving yourself enough to accept all the good that is already here. And I quoted Victor Hugo, life is like a flower of which love is the honey. Love is the honey. And I reminded you to be good stewards of your inner self, to realize greater courage and honor your dreams, to live your dream, to realize that you are worthy to receive the good life, which is God's life, through all you believe, say, and do. Which brings us to today's lesson, Revealing the Healing Heart. So I begin with some insight from Dr. Ernest Holmes, our founder. In the textbook, he writes, revelation is becoming consciously aware of hidden things. Since the mind that man uses is the same mind as God uses, the one and only mind, got that? The avenues of revelation can never be closed. The avenues of revelation can never be closed. We close them as a human. He goes on, but no man can receive the revelation for another. You got to do your work. I can't do it for you. Oh, I can assist you. We assist each other. Every connection we have, every communication we have with one another is a point of revelation. So to me, revelation is your gift from God, for it arrives from within you, and you, and you back there, everyone, individually. Now, healing defines as to heal man to make whole. To make whole. Healing is the result of clear thinking and logical reasoning, which presents itself to consciousness and is acted upon it. Realize that you are a divine idea. Now we talk about consciousness, that word, that concept, that truth of our being a lot in this teaching, because we reside in a universal consciousness contributing our individual consciousness, our beliefs, our feelings, our intentions, to our life and thus to the whole. It's like dropping a pebble in the water. It ripples out. Now I move on to the heart definition in Science of Mind. It says, from the Bible we have the assurance, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. That's why I asked about your heart earlier. How is your heart? The old Greek philosophers understood something of the meaning of thought. What we expect, said Aristotle, we find. What we wish, that we believe. And Shakespeare is accredited with the saying, there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. I like that one. Thinking makes it so. The modern commercial world accepts the slogan, he can who thinks he can. Talk about food for thought, huh? Well, what I believe is each one of us resides in a continuum of revelation, and thus the opportunity for greater healings toward greater wisdom of that which is divine. It is done unto you through your understanding the power of thought. Some people negate thought. It's just what I say doesn't matter. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Reflecting on my childhood, I grew up in a small desert community in Southern California. My parents worked hard. They worked for the Air Force. They were civil servants. They worked hard and partied even harder. They were good examples about what I didn't want to do. Now, I like to party, but they were partying. Boy, oh boy. But I did know they provided the best that they could for we children. The best they knew how. I'll add that. The best they knew how. They did not have a healthy consciousness when it came to money, however. Our first home was repossessed. We moved 3 more times to rentals right within our little town of about 1,000 people. Well, I knew we were loved and were provided for. There was always a roof over our heads, food to eat, and clothing to wear. And 1 car in the driveway. I guess you could say we were quite wealthy by a lot of standards. But I remember at that time feeling a combination of embarrassment and shame and knowing I was going to do something different. Different in my life. And I did. Now it took work. Thank you, Science of Mind. Because I also remember imagining how to do something different in my life when I was a child. I didn't know it was called manifestation, but I learned it from my mother. Manifestation without judgment. Observation with realization. I've told the story before. I'm going to tell it again. So you got some new people here. A neighbor had a beautiful red car that I loved. I was 15, just getting ready to drive. Oh, love that car. Drool, drool. You know how some kids can be that want to drive, love cars. My mother said, "Do you love that car?" I said, "I do, yeah." "Would you like one?" "Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I want one. I want one." Just like that. She says, "Oh, okay. Go ask Mr. Smith how he got that car. Run along." She didn't say he was a bad person. He wasn't better than we were. She told me, "Go find out." So my first car was red. It wasn't that car, but it was red nonetheless. See, there's that putting your words and your thoughts and your intentions out there. I got a red car. It was great. I remember that experience. So it's consciousness. We're talking consciousness here. And so in this book, A Happy Pocket Full of Money, chapter 17, you experience what you are awake to. You experience what you are awake to. And it talks about the consciousness of not only our individual selves, but the nation. We live in a very rich nation. And money goes here and money goes there. It may not be to our individual choice of direction, but we live in a wealthy nation. And it starts within us in our own worlds to have a consciousness of abundance. And so I know that with my family, their consciousness of abundance was this much. They just couldn't get out of this much. And it's not about the money so much, it's about the feeling and the experience of wealth, of worthiness, of comfort. After the Paradise Fire, I was very happy and grateful to have, what did I have with me? Oh, my sports shoes, my car, my partner, and a place to land the first night. That's wealth. That's consciousness speaking. Yeah, a lot of stuff went. Poof. But I really realized at a deeper level how wealthy I am. So that's where my focus moves to what really is wealth. And the money part of it comes along. It truly does. So for over 40 years, I've studied this teaching, and I'm still a student. And I've tested all these principles that have come across me, from different perspectives and from the very bottom life of my belief. That bottom line of belief. And it's this. Life showed up for me perfectly as I ordered it. As I ordered it. When I felt and believed toward abundance, what's that? That's a new, abundance, or lack, fear or courage, joy, freedom, love, hate. Guess what? There it was. There it was. Like looking in a mirror, isn't it? Everyone done mirror work in this teaching? The thoughts are reflected back into more of the same reflection, same idea, same experience. So whenever I'm feeling confused, I remind myself of the time I went to an amusement park. And one of the first attractions I bought a ticket for was the Fun House. And guess what? There's a hallway of mirrors. You ever did that? How'd you get out? It's kind of scary, wasn't it? You kept going. So which way do I go? Which way do I turn? Which way is out? And that is when I'm feeling confused. That's what I imagine. So I stop, close my eyes, and panic first. And then reassure myself that this is my reflection and I can change that. Life can be confusing. It can be filled with panic. And there are times to check in with your consciousness. That's one of my times. Yes, I have my own practitioners. And I encourage each of you to go to the wall, practitioner wall, and see which face reflects back as the one that you might grow with, heal with. Sometimes, as humans, there's a feeling of complacency, of resignation. Resignation to our past conditioning and thoughts of no way out. Feeling stalled in a hall of mirrors. Well, many believe in this complacency and become comfortable in it. I have. It's too much work. I have to get out of my chair. I have to go talk to somebody. Boo-hoo. Victim consciousness. Spoiler alert, there are no victims. There are no victims. There are always choices for a healthier awareness. One of the early mantras for me was this: change your thinking, change your life. Remember that? Love it. It is done in consciousness, beginning with your own, and the mind, your most powerful tool and power. And you are always, in all ways, at a point of choice. So what do you believe heals your heart? Love? Anything? Acceptance? Oneness? Forgiveness? Yeah, those are good.
No judgment.
Right. Acceptance. You don't have to accept what's going on, the experience, but you can accept what's beneath it, what's behind it. Spiritual heart in a hug requires nourishment to thrive. And you've all just mentioned what nourishes your hearts. Love to me is a large comforter, a large blanket over all the other words. Not only above it, but beneath it, and wraps us in it. So that's really the deep fertilizer for more growth of love in your life. Many years ago, a friend of mine was in charge of his family's estate, and another member of the family didn't think he was doing it right. So there was a rift. They never spoke again. My friend died. The brother came to me and said, I'm having some heart issues. Doctor says my heart is like stone. So I began loving him, accepting him, bringing him in. And 80% of his heart recovered. I didn't do it. I didn't do anything. I just allowed love to come back through him. and he's now about 90. Still ticking. Still ticking. So, love heals. Don't always know the avenue, but it heals. Okay, there's a slide I'd like to present. And if we can say this together, all you need is to stop searching outside what can be found only within. Set your vision right before you operate. Clarify your mind. Purify your heart. Sanctify your life. This is the quickest way to change your world. So, beloveds, as my lesson concludes, I share the words of Abraham Hicks. Quote, "Keep your focus on how you want to feel and let the universe fill in the rest." Have the courage, each one of us, I know we have the courage to reveal that which is precious within us. Allow the healing elixir of love and breath and wholeness, its fullest expression through you. Know God is in this room, the room of life, which is your life too. This room is limitless and filled to overflowing with your potential. Let it hear your voice. Let it feel your love. And remember, always just love. Namaste.